Let's switch gears now and focus on the intrigues in the politics of Imo State. The dust is yet to settle in the umpires between the Imo State government and the former governor of Imo State, Senator representing Imo West Senatorial District, Okorocha, over government's implementation of the Gazette by the Judicial Panel of Inquiry on Land Acquisition and other related matters, indicting the former governor, Okorocha. The state government said it has obtained a court order directing the state government to seal off and take over properties allegedly acquired illegally by the former governor and some of his family members. What China Television has observed in the past few days is that some of these properties have been marked for demolition or action based on the Gazette, and tonight it appears there are some legal angles on the matter to consider. But Senator Okorocha on his part believes the state government has refused to obey court orders restraining it from acting on the said properties. And we have parties on both sides of the divide to speak on this matter. From our Abuja studio, he's a human rights lawyer and counsel to the former governor, Okorocha, Mr. Frank Tietie. He's in Abuja studio, and from Owerri, he's the commissioner for lands, Mr. Iyenaya Onuegbu. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming tonight. Let me perhaps begin with our guest in Abuja studio, who is obviously not happy with the situation of things. The counsel of to the former governor, Okorocha, Mr. Frank Tietie. Okay, I'm being told. Let's go to Owerri. And perhaps the question to ask you, Commissioner, is the agitation from Senator Okorocha's side is that there is a high court judgment, a perpetual injunction, delivered on the 7th of September 2020. Are you aware of that judgment restraining the state government from acting on these properties?
No, thank you for having me on the program, Cheryl, and good evening, Nigerians. The important thing is he is not properly informed. Under Governor Ihedioha, as he then was before the Supreme Court sent them packing, the committee he set up to recover government property, headed by Honorable Jasper Ndubak, went to the premises of a boutique, a fashion house, actually established by the daughter of the former governor, while the father was governor of Imo State. That property is called House of Frida Fashion House. That House of Frida Fashion House is located directly on the railway line, proposed railway line on the master plan of Owerri. In my ministry, even the civil servants then refused to register that title till today. Now that committee went there to recover the generator carried away from the government house in Imo State to that premises. And it led to a physical confrontation between the lady and the officials of that administration, such that they threatened to beat up themselves when she was defending properties apparently belonging to her. Now, she commenced a fundamental rights application at the High Court, seeking to stop that committee from carrying out the function. Remember, by this time, the Judicial Commission on Land Matters had been inaugurated by that administration. So what she went to court to do was a fundamental rights application. If by extrapolation and legal magic, she obtained a judgment covering the title of her father, her mother, her brothers, her cousins, her nephews, and all that, and her husband, we will know that when we court processes come to our attention. But we have an competent Attorney General who will answer on those legal matters. My concern as Commissioner for Lands is restricted to performing the directives issued to me by the government gazette, which I am enforcing.
Hear from Mr. Frank Tietie. On what grounds, Mr. Tietie, is Senator Okorocha pushing some of what he has described as witch hunt?
Well, I thank you very much, but it is so clear to the entire world. What is happening in Imo State is actually a threat to the peace and stability of Nigeria, because we have a governor that has been created, that has been established by law, and then he's superintending over the desecration of court orders that have actually created him. We are talking about the sacrosanctity of a court order here, and somebody talks about magic. We're talking about the order of a justice of a high court of Imo State, and somebody talks about magic. And I mean, we are talking about an order that proceeded from a fundamental rights application. And it's saying that the governor of Imo State, specifically, the government of Imo State, their agents and their privates are perpetually barred from those properties that are listed on that motion paper. And it's clear. And we see a situation where a governor superintends, a governor directs the disregard of such order. Now, we are also talking about an order that is subsisting on those property, yet you find a governor misleading the public, misleading his own officials. We are my little friend there must be careful, because he must realize that what has happened in Imo State with this recent order or with regards to a forfeiture is an attempt to mislead the judiciary, and he can answer for it. We are talking about a situation where the order that we are talking about is not an interim order. It's not an interlocutory order. It is a judgment order, permanently, perpetually barring the Imo State government from interfering with this property. Yet, they have devised one way or the other, to use what we call the outcome of a judicial commission of inquiry, a fact-finding committee that presented a white paper that was simply meant to guide government. You are using a white paper to go and seal up property, to go and mark property, to cause confusion and create unnecessary embarrassment. So we are talking about a judgment order of the Imo State High Court.
Is the Gazette not a legal instrument in the eye of the law?
A Gazette simply is an instrument indicating what the government is a policy document. The policies of the government is actually an expression of the will of the executive arm of government. But we are dealing with rights that touch Section 43 of the Constitution, the right to own movable and immovable property. It is a fundamental right. You don't deal with such a right with a government white paper. Only a court of competent jurisdiction can handle such a matter. We are talking about a situation where on the 15th, this honorable commissioner had gone to seal those property that have already been covered by a court judgment. What kind of ridiculous
Mr. Tietie, you heard
for court orders that?
Sorry again, sorry that I'm cutting in again, and so that Nigerians can get a sense of what this is all about. So the commissioner also said some of these issues that went to court happened under the former governor, the former governor, Ihedioha. And so is it binding on the new governor or the government under Senator Hope Uzodinma?
What kind of thing is that? We are talking about Governor Hope Uzodinma's administration moving against the property of former governor, and now Senator Okorocha, on the basis of a white paper that was conducted by the former administration of Ihedioha, and then he refuses to take responsibility. Don't we know that's a simple ABC issue, that government is a continuum? So when there is an order that is subsisting against the government of Imo State, then somebody wants to say that, oh, because it happened in Ihedioha's time, it does not affect him, even though he takes the constitutional and legal responsibility as governor. It doesn't make sense at all. The order stands until it is vacated or until it is set aside on appeal. It has not been appealed. It stands 6 months after it has been delivered. So it stands. So what the government should do is to allow the courts to have its way. Let me tell you, I need to make this clear. What is happening in Imo State is of concern to many of us because it's a direct threat to our legal culture. You find out that on the 15th, this commissioner had gone to seal a property that is covered by a judgment. And then on the 21st, when His Excellency Governor Okorocha had gone because he cannot obey what we call a white paper direction. What is that? Is unknown to law.
Mr.
To steal a property.
Yeah.
And then creating all of that confusion. Now,
Mr. Tietie, just a moment. I've given you enough time to respond. Just a moment. Let's also hear again from the Commissioner. Commissioner, you heard what Mr. Tietie, the lawyer there in Abuja, is saying about the action under Senator Uzodinma I'm asking you a question based on what he said. I'd like you to react about what he has described as
he didn't react.
Go ahead, please.
Yes, thank you very much. The first point is that I want to confirm to you on record that Mr. Tietie was not a lawyer in that case, and I am sure he doesn't know the facts of that matter. Secondly, I was called to the Nigerian bar 13th of December 1991. I don't know when he was called. A gazette is a supplemental legislation having the same effect as every other law to be executed by the executive branch of government. Now, as to that matter was constituted by the daughter of the former governor. She went to court, not the former governor, unless if they're saying that the properties that are in issue did not come from Imo State government. Those properties are properties that arose from purported allocation from Imo State land while the governor was in office, the former governor was in office. Now, if he says he has a judgment of the High Court over property, it is very clear that the law has provided how you enforce a judgment. Let him go about enforcing that judgment. But what is certain is that Imo State government as of today is not bound by any judgment on fundamental rights affecting the execution of the gazette, which I am carrying out. Now, the simple thing is this. We are not engaging in parliamentary filibustering here. We are talking issues of law, and I don't have any personal stake in this matter, except that I'm carrying out my official functions. Now, in the gazette, if the former governor was mentioned 500 times because of infraction of the municipal laws, the master plan, the state land law, the Land Use Act, it means that the former governor will cry 500 times because of the illegalities. Because, like Chinua Achebe said in his seminal book, when you bring a maggot-infested wood, you invite the lizard to lunch. So if he has taken more of the rotten moi moi, he will steal more than others. The important thing is that it is not aimed at victimization. In the gazette which I have, there are 30 petitions by Igbo people against Okorocha's living home, Spibat Mansion. It is not being implemented by the government because the commission said that was his private matter. In other areas, 1,512 petitions. He is mentioned in more than 300 concerning state land allocation, concerning abuse of open spaces, concerning abuse of green veggies, concerning abuse of watershed. And my friend is telling us victimization.
All right, Commissioner, just a moment.
Yes.
Yeah, just a moment. Let me show our viewers again some of the visual that we obtained. Of course, that Channels Television took. Some of these visuals are from yesterday, I understand. And I want the Commissioner to explain to us what exactly this means. Removed by Imo State government within 7 days. Mr. Enyinaya, give us a sense of what will happen after the expiration of these ultimatum that you have marked these buildings for.
Properties you are referring to or you are showing are properties that are presently illegally built on the site designated by the Owerri Master Plan as the permanent site of Imo State Government House. That is the area called Area P in the Owerri New Capital Territory. Now, under Governor Okorocha, he bastardized.
I think we have an issue with the connection with Mr. Onuegbu there. Let's go to Abuja today. I wanted him to explain the action of the government so we can get the reaction of Mr. Tietie, who is the counsel to Senator Okorocha. Mr. Tietie, your reaction to some of the issues that he has raised.
The clear situation is this. We have all of these properties pending in various courts in Imo State and in the Federal High Court. It's also interesting that the EFCC, the federal government through the EFCC has also, at a time, obtained interim forfeiture orders with regards to this property, and those orders have also been vacated by through an application by Okorocha's lawyers with regards in the Federal High Court. So you see a situation where all of these properties that are before the Federal High Court, particularly the Eastern Palm University, that is also in a third case, which has been filed, to determine whether the arrangement, the agreement between the government of Imo State and the Rochas Okorocha Foundation, whether that agreement was legal in ensuring that the property belongs to Rochas Okorocha as we speak. Now, it's not enough to raise allegations to be sensational about saying that these properties belong to Imo State government, but why don't you prove it with court? You can only prove it with a government white paper that came from a fact-finding committee that was set up by the governor himself, selected by people that favored him. It is just, it may be a judicial panel, but it's just meant to collect facts. It is not a court. Now, we're talking about a situation where the Federal High Court in Owerri is presiding over this property in question. The Port Harcourt Federal High Court is also presiding over this property in question. Yet, we find persons, all because of desperation, to create sensation, to create distraction from true issues of governance, by now going to deceive a judge.
So there is another question.
Justice Njemazi, to grant an order covering an order of interim forfeiture in a matter that is already before a Federal High Court and two Federal High Courts for that matter. That is an abuse of the process of court. And
Mr.
that's what we have in Imo State.
Yeah.
That cannot happen under a governor that is a beneficiary of the rule of law.
Another question here is, he asks a question that if you have a judgment, why has it not been effected, or why has it not been implemented if you have that instrument of law?
It is a simple thing. Very, very simple. This is a judgment of the Imo State High Court. It is the duty of the court to ensure that its judgments are enforced. One, applications are made where necessary, where you have a recalcitrant executive as we have, a recalcitrant government as we have in this situation. And again, it is expected that those who lead government should be the ones in the forefront of ensuring obedience to court orders. Why would somebody who gets an order of court now go through the pains of fighting government to obey an order, especially a governor like Uzodinma, who knows the benefits and importance of obeying court orders? It is not something that is the responsibility alone of the applicant. The applicant has done it, and it is expected that the government should obey it.
All right. I understand now that we have the commissioner back. So let me allow you to continue. You were explaining the actions of the Imo State government, because I was showing our viewers those pictures there, the videos of the marking of some of the properties linked to Senator Okorocha.
Thank you very much. Now, let me reassure Mr. Tietie that we are capable of meeting any agitation he thinks he has before the court. But the execution we are carrying out, the enforcement of the terms of the Gazette, has no forbearance ordered by any court. There was no court order against what we are doing now. Now, he has not disputed my earlier assertion that it was the daughter of the former governor who went to court to preserve her business outfit. Now, these properties I have told you are built on the government house permanent site. Let him dispute that. These properties are properties of Imo State government. The allocation is supposed to emanate from Imo State government. It is not family property inherited by any of the Okorochas. It is not property Okorocha acquired before he became governor. These are properties he appropriated while in office as governor of Imo State with his people. Even his aides, who were unemployed graduates before he became governor, are beneficiaries of that land allocation. We know them. Now, the Gazette we are enforcing, if he has a case against the Gazette, he has to go to court against the Gazette. But he cannot stop executive function carrying out the terms of the Gazette.
Commissioner,
now,
okay,
finally,
just a moment.
you asked me, yes.
Just a moment. Let me ask you this.
Yes.
Since you're a lawyer,
yes,
if
please. There
is a court order, because Mr. Tietie has mentioned a vacation of an order of the AFCC when they went to court over some of these properties. If there is a court order asking the Imo State governor to stay action. Would the government obey it?
If there is a court order gotten from the date of enforcement of the Gazette on us, of course, we will do the right thing by law, either obeying the order, going to appeal, to attack the decision. But we are saying that the order is parading. It's a fundamental rights order against the former administration. And Governor Hope Uzodimma did not constitute the membership of this commission. We inherited it. He did not put one person in that commission. That is how they missed their points. The commission was part of what we inherited when we took over government. And if you come to Imo, 98% of Imo people are happy and anxious that the terms of this Gazette be enforced. We are not here to do the whims and caprices of the powerful
Mr.
man.
Onegbu, just a moment, because I'll come back to you to get your final word. But let me go to Abuja studio. Mr. Tietie, let's get your final thought on this. Where do you think you're going from here? You heard what the commissioner has said, and it looks like they're going ahead to effect action on some of these properties.
You see, the commissioner is misleading the public, clearly, to the extent that, and what they are trying to do in Imo State is dangerous. For example, you can't expect that a property that is already that is already a pending case before the court, they are intervening. And let me tell you, if somebody acquires property and has papers and procedures to show that they were legal, who are you as a commissioner? Who are you as a governor? Who are you as a judicial commission of inquiry to declare that it is illegal, and then on your own, you are going to seal it, on your own, you are going to take it back just because you want to be sensational and appear to be busy, whereas you are not? What you should do in the first place, what they ought to have done, and that's what's wrong. When they had gone to seal the Palm Spring Royal Apartments, when they had gone to seal it without an order, I mean, a commissioner without an order, under a member of the executive, under what ground did he go to seal that? And then rushing back to the court to go and get an interim order that is interim. It is meant to be very temporary. It is not meant to last. Yet, the news is everywhere. They have seized, they have forfeited Okorocha's property. It is not true. It cannot be. You cannot take the property of a Nigerian without a proper court proceedings. And it is not by a white paper, it is not by a gazette that is based on a white paper.
We'll take that as your final word
on the policy of government.
Because we need to go now. And I'd like to, Mr. Onegbu also, to give us his final thought. But precisely tell us, after the expiration of these 7 days, which we saw that you marked on those buildings, what will happen?
The terms of the Gazette is that area P, the government house permanent site, should be restored to the position of the master plan of Owerri. And that would involve demolition of those third-party properties. That is the truth.
All right.
Okorocha, when he was governor, demolished properties in the public interest for public purposes. He also demolished properties. Now, as of today, those properties have been marked, and it is best advised to the persons involved to remove any valuable thing they have there, because those properties will go down as directed by the Gazette. We are not here to sensationalize issues or mislead the public. We are here to do the terms of the law.
All right. We understand that the 7 days will expire around Wednesday or Thursday this week. And we do hope that, the law will take its course and the government also will do its duties. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for the Frank Tietie counsel, to Mr. Senator Okorocha and the Commissioner for Lands there, Mr. Onegbu. Thank you, gentlemen. And that's how we draw the curtains of the program tonight. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching. I'm Sean Kimale. Bye-bye.